What is going on, guys, and welcome to Bootstrap tutorial. And in this video we're going to look at how we can actually create a tooltip in Bootstrap, and I will show you that we can actually create a tooltip out of every element that we want. So you can see over here I have a heading, then I have a link over here, and this is obviously a button. So let's stop talking and let's actually start coding. So over here I'm just going to delete this quickly, whatever we did, so we're not repeating ourselves. Well, technically we will be repeating ourselves, but we will be doing that together, right? So here I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to say that I'm going to delete this div, right? So over here I don't have a div now, and the first thing we're going to do is actually create a div. I'm going to say that the class is going to be Jumbotron over here. So within that Jumbotron, first we're going to say that actually, you know what, let's do this. We're going to say text, let's say center, right? Because we want everything to be aligned center. So I'm going to say heading 1, and this is going to be hi, I am tooltip, right? And over here we're going to say that this is going to be a link over here with href, and the href over here is going to be hashtag, and I'm going to say that this is going to be a link. However, we would need to add a data toggle over here like this. This is going to be our attribute, and over here we're going to say that this is going to be tooltip, and here we're going to say that this is going to be a title. This is the title is basically what's going to tooltip is going to say, right? And again, we're using data toggle, but instead of drop downs and collapses and models, we're actually using a tooltip. So pretty straightforward. And here I'm going to say that hi, I am link, something like this, and over here we can just close it out, and let's say what the link would say, right? So I don't know, hover over me, something like this. Hover over me if you dare. I don't know, if you dare, something like this. And what we can do actually with these tooltips, we can do the same thing over here. As long as we add these a class over here, this attribute, and over here this title, obviously what will be the title. So if I just say just copy over here, and if I just paste it to heading 1, we can add it to any element that we would want, right? So here I'm going to say hi, I am heading, right? But again, the data type, right? So we're going to say button, and we're going to say that this is going to be a type button, and the class is going to be a btn, let's say large, over here like this. Then we're going to say that this is going to be a btn, and again, as always, I like the danger ones, but again, we would need to paste over here this attribute. So all I need to do again is do the paste, and over here I'm going to say that this is going to be a button, right? So I'm going to say button. So it's just going to be simple button, right? And here I'm going to say click me, right? So now I have 3 elements, and all of them have the same tooltip, right? But different values, obviously, with the title. Now, as we're hovering, actually nothing is happening. The reason nothing is happening is that we need to add a jQuery, right? And the good news is that actually with the Bootstrap, we right away have a newest jQuery over here. But over here, we would need to write a little bit of JavaScript over here. So I'm going to create a script, right? Over here like this, we're going to create a script tags. And we can obviously create a new file for that. And obviously, if we would be working with a, I don't know, landing page or something like that, we would be doing that. We wouldn't be creating over here just a random JavaScript within our website, because it actually messes up everything. Well, visually at least. But over here, I'm going to do it just because it's an example, right? So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a function. And I'm going to say first the function when the page loads. So we're going to say that this function needs to run when the document is going to be ready. So I'm going to write document. And over here, we're going to write a name. I'm going to say that this is going to be ready. Over here like this. And then I'm going to say what should happen, right? So here I'm going to write a function. And within that function, we're just going to place a what should happen, right? So here I'm going to create a little bit more space, and I'm going to write which element should be first of all affected. So I'm going to say that I would want select, And over here, I'm just going to write, first we're just going to select link, right? So here I'm going to write a link, and I'm going to say that once I'm hovering over the link, that tooltip function should run over here like this. And should we save it? Refresh, and over here you can see as I'm hovering over the link, you can see my tooltip hi I am link, right? And we can obviously zoom it in a little bit so we can see better, right? Hi I am link. But as I'm hovering over these ones, nothing is happening, right? And over here we have a couple of options, right? So what we can do over here, let's say if we added a class, right? So let's say with an h1, right? We could have written over here h1 like this, right? And again, this would be happening. Now I just need to save it over here, not over here, but over here, and refresh because we're using JavaScript. So you can see now it's a heading, right? But nothing is happening with the link because I changed this selector, right? And obviously if we wanted to, we could have added over here a, for the button, let's say, let's change from button, but here I'm going to say class. This is going to be my class, right? And I don't know, I'm going to say class. Actually, I could have added over here, right? So let's do it like this. Let's make it an ID. I'm going to say ID, and the ID is going to be button or BTN, right? So if I go back over here, and if I say that I would want to select a ID that has a BTN, so here if I save and I refresh, so now it happens that nothing happens because I messed it up somewhere. An ID is going to be button, so here I need to write a button like this, and then this one is what I'm selecting. So let's save it again. I'm so apologize. And now as we're hovering over the button, now we have a tooltip. Now I keep yammering and yammering and yammering away. What we can do is we can select all the tooltips at the same time. I just showed you that we can select the element actually, or we can select the classes or the IDs. But we have an option where we can select all the tooltips. And how we can do that, we actually use the attribute selector. So over here, I'm going to place a attribute. And what I'm going to say that this is going to be an attribute if data over here toggle, right? Because all of them have the same attribute, right? As we're creating this tooltip. And over here, I'm going to say tooltip. This is going to be the value over here. And again, if I save it and you refresh, you can see that all of them have the tooltip, right? Very simple, very straightforward. And if you're a big fan of tooltips, actually very useful. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next video.